Guys, welcome to my new podcast. I got my family on, my brother and my pappy. We're going to be talking just random talks, and we're going to have a good time. I need a good introduction episode. Who better to do it than my own blood? Right, Pops? Right, bro?
For sure. Yep.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. How are you guys doing tonight? Even though we just been talking for the last 2 hours.
Doing good.
I'm going to blur out our beers that we're drinking because they're not sponsors.
So don't show it on screen.
You can. It just gives me more work to do in editing.
Don't do this. Here's a little job for you, Eric, right here.
The good thing is we're not drinking the same one, so we're not pushing one brand.
Mm-hmm. I like your background, Eric.
Thank you. It's temporary. That's just, we put that in here for the Truth or Theory podcast. This is the opposite wall of where we record on the other end. So we have something to look at instead of a closet. So just because of something else to look at.
Yeah.
What you twirling there, bro?
Oh, you see me twirling something?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good. It's a free twirling podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be on YouTube as well. So you guys are going to be forever stored in YouTube world.
Whatever that means. That could be good or bad.
The YouTube archives.
Mm-hmm.
You had a question you wanted to ask me, Pops? I asked you to hold on to it before we started recording.
Yeah. The question I've got for you is that in the process of doing the Truth or Theory podcast, which is, I guess I understand you're up to over 30 episodes with that podcast.
Yep.
What have you learned? Because I can see a definite difference in your personality as a result of that. But what have you learned from that podcast? Couple of key things.
Well, I'll go ahead and answer that for you.
Yeah, let's do that. First answer, and then I'll give you the real answer.
I'm gonna go ahead and answer it for you. I think what's happened is he's building an on-screen persona, and that's what you're seeing right now. You know, it's still Eric, but there's some dressing up going on in the Willy status.
Yeah.
They're all characters. So Gringo's a character. Wildy Willy's a character. Truth or Theory Willy's a character. Now No Limits Willy is another variation. It's like an action figure that comes in all kinds of different series.
Yeah, and I wish everybody knew, you know, all the things that you've gotten into and all that stuff, you know, and I hope you're able to bring light to all those things, you know, like especially the outdoor stuff and the educational thing that you did, and I hope all that stuff kind of takes off at some point as well, you know, because I think there's a lot of good content and all that stuff, a lot of educational things for kids and families, all that good stuff. So
yeah, that's something I got to keep in mind. I appreciate you saying that too. I got to keep that in mind when I get educational animal experts on, that I do want kids to be able to watch it too. So I got to keep my content somewhat family oriented. Truth or Theory is definitely not for kids. That one's 18 or older, but I think I could make this one where everybody could watch it. I just need to watch my language, and or I can censor myself, because I do want the youth to better watch cool episodes that are going to come on with all these wildlife guys that I'm going to get on, because I'm already talking to a lot of interesting people that are going to come on and teach us about cool wildlife stuff. It's going to be huge.
So answer Dad's question then.
Tremendous guys. I got tremendous guys. I have all the best guys.
Well, but in other words, what I was getting at though is that no doubt you've learned some tricks to the trade in terms of interviewing people. What have you learned from some of that experience that you've gained?
Yeah, it's definitely a trial and error thing, because JP and I both got into this with no interviewing experience whatsoever. So it's just, we're trying to create conversations more than interviews, because an interview can make somebody feel very guarded. So we just kind of want to talk to people and let them feel comfortable, and just bring up topics, let them bring up topics, and let it flow the way it needs to go. And that creates good content and good information. If we structure it too much, which we do sometimes when there's guests that it's a little difficult to get them to open up or so, we do have to do a little bit of that poking and prodding like Barbara Walters, but we try to just make it you're recording a natural conversation, basically hanging out with interesting people and letting you hear the cool sides of their lives and stories that they have to tell. What have you noticed in me that's different, that's interesting to me, that I'm coming off differently? I feel the same.
Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe Chris wants to say something at this point, but I can definitely see a tendency as you go into it further and further with your podcast, a tendency to maybe back off a little bit, let the guy speak or the woman speak or whatever,
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
try to not jump in too often. And that takes a little bit of skill because you're trying to keep things going and keep it interesting. At the same time, not cut the person off who's doing the talking.
Yeah,
That's
it is tricky because it's me and JP, and we're both trying to let the guests feel like they have a free form to talk, and then when we jump in, we don't want to throw off their rhythm because we don't know what their structure of how they want to tell their situation. For example, Bishop Larry Gators is one of our guests that whenever he comes on, we basically take the night off. We just let him have the floor and go with it because he has so much information and so much content that he tells, and he does it in a rhythm, and we don't want to break his rhythm, so we just treat it like a classroom and stay quiet until he's done. And then we have other guests that you kind of have to keep the conversation going, keep feeding it, and keep making it more interesting and not stay on one subject for too long.
Yeah, being your dad, okay, and knowing you pretty well, I can almost feel when you're trying to get your guests to talk more or to get into some area that you maybe you want to lead them into and away from something else or whatever.
Yeah.
I can feel that.
And there's got to be an art in that for sure, and that's something I guess you
absolutely.
probably hone as you go and get better and better with it for sure.
Yeah. All the big podcasts out there all started really crappy. If you go look at like the first episodes of Joe Rogan, it's pretty pitiful, but it's still entertaining. It's just building experience and getting better equipment and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and then they just kind of
growing process.
Kind of find their rhythm and it kind of ignites from there, I guess.
Yeah. It's a growing process.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like tackling a fear for me too, because it's like a form of public speaking, which everybody's afraid of for the most part. I used to have a lot of fear of public speaking. I thought that was like one of the most terrifying things you can do, is being on stage in front of a bunch of people staring at you when most of the time they don't even want to hear what you're talking about. But doing like this and just kind of embracing it and just dumping into the deep end of the water and just, it is what it is. I am who I am. I don't speak very clear. I'm not super educated, but I have a lot of interesting hobbies and perspectives on things. So I think it makes it fun. And most importantly, I get a lot of cool guests that have cool stories too.
But I think you're doing a great job. All right. I got to just say one little thing though. There's a double-edged sword to public speaking. It is difficult. It is nerve-wracking, and most people have a hard time with it. But if you can do it and do it well, and get through it with being able to deliver your message clearly, is extremely gratifying. So there's both sides to that coin. And like I said, if you can just be yourself, I think the key to public speaking though is to have a lot in your head to say, and only actually plan on saying very little. But it's that reserve in your head that makes it possible for you to speak with clarity and with conviction.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a good point, Dave. Never thought about it that way.
That is good. That's why I wanted to do this. You guys are wise.
No wisdom is pouring out right now.
I love it.
Well, it's that old 0 to 70 thing. We always talk about about Bobby and I here, but that always comes through.
Yeah.
And if you go in thin, it's going to come out thin.
Yeah.
Well, I think the podcast stuff too. Now, I guess we're kind of going down the road of truth or theory stuff and all. But I think what's been such amazing for most people is the fact that the ability you've had to book guests, and the guests that you've been putting on there. I think is kind of what's blowing people's minds. Just meaning that you had some pretty big name people on there, and it's interesting. It's just fun to see. I think it's always cool to see what's next, and what chapter in the book you're gonna open up next, and
Yeah,
so that's definitely a skill that you have. You may have not even known that you even had it, and you're really working that angle really hard right now.
Yeah,
it definitely shows for sure.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. It's definitely something I've been very impressed with myself as well, that these people are actually taking the chance to come on with us. As I'm trying my best to be relatable and polite about it, but they don't really have to entertain coming on to two unknown idiots podcasts that they don't benefit from really. But we're starting to grow, so they are going to start benefiting from it. It's really cool. And then for this podcast, I'm already booked all the way into June right now. Actually, no, not to July. And I just started booking with it. And I got so many really cool people that are coming on that I'm excited. And I posted a few of them on Instagram, but I'm gonna share more soon who's coming on. But there's a lot of really good MMA people, jiu-jitsu, high-level jiu-jitsu coaches and MMA coaches, wildlife experts. One niche I'm having a hard time booking is musicians. I really want to get some interesting musicians on, and they're hard as hell to get hold of. So that'll come with time.
Musicians are probably going to be the people that are going to be a little more difficult to connect with too, though. You know.
Yeah.
I would think, and I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I would think that those people would probably be a little tougher to connect with and all that stuff. You know, the interviews that I've seen from them so far and all stuff, you know, that they always seem to be interesting. There's a lot more behind than what you just see, you know, at face value for sure.
Yeah. This is a different world for me too, because as you remember, when I was a teenager, I went through a bad agoraphobic type stage where I didn't even want to see anybody and hide in my room with the doorbell ring. So this is like polar opposite. So I'm embracing it and enjoying it. It's a good creative outlook for me.
You want to hear something kind of funny, Eric?
Yeah,
you may have a small audience at this time, but as your podcast grows, both of them really, but as this podcast grows, it may well be that down the line, several years from now, people are going to go back because you've become so popular. They're going to go back and want to see all your podcasts, and that's going to include Chris and I and talking to you. Father, son, and other son. You know, pretty.
That's neat. The goal for sure. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
What I don't like though is that everybody's got like a kind of a nickname, but I have my real first name. It sucks.
You want me to change it?
There's Willy and there's Dad and then just Chris.
Some random Chris guy on the street.
Yeah.
Think of a nickname and I'll change it for you.
All right.
I can do it at any moment. Do y'all have any other funny stories, questions, or anything you'd like to share to our audience?
No, but I would say one thing. I think Chris and I both were probably trying to dodge this little this little ball here, but it's good to be together.
Yeah, it's probably that's absolutely for sure. And I think if you watch these things and you see things, you're like, man, how do these people get on this stuff and just do this and all? And then and just like my dad just said, it's it's funny that my dad, yeah, exactly. Dad just said that the funny thing is that we neither one of us would even consider doing it. You know, I mean, last night, Eric, Willy was texting me all night, trying to work every angle he could. And I never even agreed to it. I still never agreed to it. Now I'm here. I don't even know how it happened.
I know. That's
the Booker E magic.
That's a testament to his abilities.
Yeah. The force is strong with this one. That's a shout out to Kate. This one.
Yeah. So it should be Sneaky Willy is what it should be. Instead of Willy.
Or Charming Willy.
Yeah. So
Sneaky.
So anyway, you know what you're doing because of the fact that you started this whole thing with the family thing. So he basically segued us right into it. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, that's what I figured too.
Let us cut up and play for a little while, and now we're right here shooting the shit on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta say one thing though. I was listening to your interview with. Can I mention to your guests on your other podcast? Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely. This podcast has no library yet, so everything's based off truth or theory at the moment.
Okay, so when you had Manny on your program, and he was talking about losing a finger to a gator, I was waiting for you to say, well, I had the same thing happen to me, and I thought, well, but you held back, and basically you're letting him have the limelight on that topic, which is a good idea. And I thought, if you can hold off on that, that's going to be a good thing. Then you can talk about it later, which you did do. You talked to JP about it later in that same podcast.
Yeah,
but that was a good thing. That was a good thing. Let him have the light. Yeah,
thanks for noticing that too, because that is something I very cautiously try to make sure I don't steal the spotlight from the guests, because nobody wants to hear my side of the stories or what's happened to me at the time. We're trying to entertain with the guests and let them say their stories, and mine will come later on. It's my podcast. I'll be on it all the time. But I want to get their stuff out. And I don't want to just be, hey, look at me. Look, I did this too. That's an obnoxious
I'm better
quality.
than him because I had two two fingers taken off, you know.
He, yeah, exactly. Man,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
cool and all, but
Yeah.
look, I lost all my hand.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to come off that way. And Manny's a very one-track mind kind of guy, so he got thrown off. I mentioned that you made bows in the past too, and that kind of threw him for a second. And he's like, "Well, no, it's not like that."
I heard you say you were describing what your dad did making bows, but you called them recurve bows, and I'm thinking I didn't do that. I just made soft bows, which are straight bows, basically.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
so
yeah. The recurves are pretty hard to make. It takes quite a bit of skill to do a recurve. Although the one that you had, well, that your buddy had a nice recurve wood bow. And that takes a lot of extra work, right there.
Well, we would say you have the skill to do it. You may be limited on the tools, but you have the skill to make a recurve bow.
Oh, thank you.
For sure.
Thank you for saying that. Appreciate that.
You have done some really awesome bows that you've done in the past. The long bows are pretty amazing. You know, I wish we had all the ones that were the test ones. They had some beautiful craftsmanship and some of that work you did for sure. You know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I had the one that one that we did for you, that book right in this. It was so sickening. It was so sickening to watch that.
I could see your soul was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible. I felt so bad for you for that now, and I think you still have that thing even too, right? It's It's a piece of artistry, you know. It's craftsmanship. It's awesome, you know.
And you know, that was almost 20 years ago. Would you believe? Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
Almost.
It's been that long.
It's been that long. I was doing that in the very early 2000s, like maybe 2000, 2001, and then 2. And that's that far back.
Wow.
So we're talking about 18, 20 years old. That's amazing.
That is crazy. That was some beautiful stuff. So it's not a recurve bow. What's the correct term that you were doing?
Soft bow. SELF.
I haven't even heard
soft
of that.
Bow.
Is that like a long bow or something similar?
Yeah, exactly. You could call a long bow that. Yeah. Okay. I guess the true long bows or English long bows, and those things might be 7 foot long. But these are like a long bow, but just a little shorter. Most of my bows were 67 inches long.
What were the poundage rating for that?
Anything from 35 to 55. 35 awesome. To 55. And the high pound bows or the high poundage bows were the ones that broke. So they had terrific resistance, you know, to pull back, but they also broke. And the higher the poundage, the harder the break, and the more dangerous it is. In fact, that's why I stopped making those things. It's just too dangerous for people to use. So but some were good.
You did make a lot of successful ones though that worked.
Yeah,
great.
Exactly. Some
were beautiful.
I still have some.
So you were blessed with the ability to make bows, and I was blessed with the ability to shoot them. I am the best shot, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know I'm full of shit.
Who's the best shot out of you two with the bow?
Dad.
Oh no, I think Chris is.
No, you full of crap. You know you're the best shot.
We know who the best shot is with guns.
That is the. That's the most modest person that I ever lived, but it's funny. He's a sleeper modesty though, because he has so much competitiveness in him, but he tries to underplay it.
Yeah,
setting you guys up.
we know you, man. You're a shark.
That was the red cap target story. That was a hell of a shot.
That was funny. It's when the three of us were out there, I guess in kind of the woodsy area, you know, shooting our pistols, and there was a lot of old pieces of appliances out there that we were shooting at for targets. And one of the appliances had a small red plastic ring on, I guess about maybe 2 inches in diameter, roughly. And I think I was shooting. Yeah, I think I was shooting Chris's pistol. And
it did matter.
Beretta 92, I think.
Somebody, you had to take my gun and show me that it shot well. You're like, son, is something wrong with that gun? Let me see that thing.
And you know, shooting a gun is extremely subjective. If you're not in the mood, you must just put it down. That's how it goes. And yet, when you have confidence, it goes great. But we did shoot. I think I shot it basically the first time. It virtually disappeared, but it did. and you guys both are, damn. Go on, Dad.
Yeah, it disintegrated.
Yeah, he's disintegrated.
They had a
But
washing machine out there. I couldn't even hit the side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chris is like,
me and Eric were better off throwing the bullets.
yeah.
I'm
But
definitely still like that. My accuracy's garbage.
Mine's gotten better, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. Yeah, we don't get a chance to shoot with you too much anymore, Eric, but Chris has gotten good. He's not gonna say that.
I'm not good. I've just gotten better. Is all. I've definitely learned some little tips and tricks of just marksmanship, and that's helped a lot. You think you know whatever and all, but you really don't until you have somebody that actually helps you out a little bit and coaches you.
Yeah, I've had a couple real experienced guys teach me stuff, and for that short period of time, my accuracy improved like crazy. I just didn't stick with it. When I was living in North Dakota, we had an outdoor range out there that was real nice, and I took my little arsenal out there often, but I never really got any better. I just consistently missed targets. Kate went out there and showed me up one time.
Yeah, when you get to that point, you need somebody to coach you is what it is. It's just like what I said. When you think you know, you really don't. Until somebody gives you the fundamentals, and then you try to work on those.
Oh yeah. I think something else too.
Go ahead, Deb.
I'm sorry, so I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think
good.
something else that might go with that too as well is that the choice of gun. If you get a gun that you like a lot and shoots well for you, that's the one to go with too as well.
Yeah.
Switching guns or switching around guns is tough because they all shoot differently. But if you got one that you like a lot and it just shoots very well for you, that's the one to shoot.
Yeah.
And you can build your skill level with that particular gun and get confidence with it. And with other guns.
It's probably not a good idea to keep shooting when you have bad habits too, because I'm just embedding them deeper. Probably need
and you're wasting money.
Yeah, the rounds aren't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
We had like 2 or 3 different cheers off of live camera already. We're all still drinking, and maybe we should cheers one more time.
Yeah.
Votre santé.
Yes,
put it up, Pops.
You missed out there, Pops.
There you are.
All right.
Thanks. You got it.
Miller Lite, Coors Light, and whatever Chris is drinking are not paid sponsors of this program. But if you'd like to sponsor our program, please email me at nolimitsewilly@gmail.com.
Or just send me a bunch of these beers.
Where's that one out of?
Looks like a Lone Star, huh? Lone Star beer?
No, that was the first one. This one's out of Baton Rouge, Tin Roof Brewing Company. We
have a lot of brewing companies out here in Colorado too. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
y'all do. Y'all have a shitload of microbreweries over there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Eric, we have a restaurant over here, Tickets, and the guy that's the brewmaster there is actually from Colorado.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Interesting. Yeah.
I love this state, man. It's so nice living here. People hate on it all the time, but it's fun. I like it here.
I don't know how you can hate on it. I mean, it's just
same here.
Yeah, if you do, it's probably political reasons or whatever. But I mean, if you believe in God, then you would know that God spent extra time in Colorado, man, because it's an amazing place for sure.
It really is, man.
It is.
Me and my buddy were out hiking the other day. We were in a very rocky, arid kind of looking terrain, and if we drove 20 miles, we'd be up in the Rocky Mountains in a very woodsy, natural, the Rocky Mountains traditional look. So there's so much different terrain around here that's so beautiful and very different. And it's all within like an hour distance of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. What amazed me the other day is when you took your mother and I up to the, Rocky Mountain National Park, but on the way back, we're getting down into the little city of Longmont. Is that correct? That's
Loveland. Loveland. Yeah.
Okay, just as we're leaving the mountains and getting into the city of Loveland on the outskirts, here's a herd of elk in somebody's backyard.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They're huge too. They're very healthy looking.
Where else are you going to see something like that? So close.
Yeah, they move out to the main areas too, Loveland, Longmont, closer to Interstate 25. We've seen them out in open fields and stuff too. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So we're not just seeing them in the mountains. It's awesome out here.
A lot of bison, a lot of pronghorn.
Yeah, a lot of pronghorn.
Sheep.
You go towards the prairie fields, they're all over.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of background noise, Eric, going on over there. I hear Kate.
That's not my end. That's Dad.
All right, Dad. I hear a lot of background noise on your end.
That's got to be Bobby. Then
You got to tell
yeah.
her to hone it down. That's all you hear is nothing but
Okay.
TV in the background, or tell her to
Yeah,
close her door.
she's listening. She's listening to a YouTube video is what she's doing.
Yeah, well, the whole
Yeah,
neighborhood must hear it.
I'm sending her a little text right now. Please close your door.
She's gonna turn it up louder on you.
This is a very family episode.
Yeah, I'll fix grass.
Yeah, you can't tell your boss what to do.
Yeah. I should know better than that. Yeah, boy.
Get a text back that says, "Excuse me."
Well, one thing good about women, they're not stubborn though. That's the good thing about them.
No, she gonna come out and show you that belt. That's what she's gonna do.
Oh boy, my dad had an expression for that, and whenever he had a spanking come into us, he'd say, "All right, bend over and grab your ankles," and that was bad news.
Really?
You were about to get it.
Ours was most of the drives that we had from here to New Orleans. You just count us out. Everybody would be like, you would say, well, you got 10 spankings, and you got, like, you always did it in like increments of 10.
Yeah,
we was always hoping for like 5 or maybe something,
That was some anger.
And then everybody would have a big old inventory of spankings that they would build up in their spank bank.
Yeah. The original spank bank.
Yeah, the original spank bank. And then by the time we were getting close to home, they were all like begging and pleading for, can I work these spankings off? Can I work it off? I'd be like, man, can I have mine first? I was too lazy.
I'd forgotten some of the things. That's funny. I'd love to go change some of that though right now.
Nah, we deserved every one of them. That's for sure.
I'd love to go erase a lot of that crap.
We deserved it, and it shaped us into who we are for sure.
Yeah. Bunch of jerks.
Well, you guys turned out good in spite of all of it.
You know what I was thinking about the other day, Dad? I wanted to text you, but I'm an hour behind, so it's always later on your end when I think of this kind of stuff. So I wait till the next day, and then I forget about it. So my daughter, my youngest, nicknamed Coco, she loves to come talk to me while I'm watching the show. And I'm always like, hang on, just give me 1 second. And I was like, man, this feels familiar. I did that to you so much as a kid while you're watching shows. And I always get so like offended and hurt that you'd like, why are you choosing the show over hearing what I got to say? What I got to say is not that important, but I was like, man, why do you want to do that and not listen to me? And I always have to wait for commercial breaks, and I would drive you nuts during the commercial breaks, and you'd be like, damn, hope my show comes back on quick. But now, being a father on the other end of it, I 1,000,000% understand. It's something you have to go through. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
My girls are getting the same thing I got. That's like, I don't want to hear you right now. Just shut up and let me watch my show.
Yeah.
Remember all the questions I used to ask then?
Man.
There's so many questions about stuff. It's just like, watch the damn show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard that about Chris was the king of questions, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
When he was
I'm the original interviewer and interrogator.
Mm-hmm. Inquiring minds want to know, huh? That's what it was.
It's just funny being on the other end of it.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, as a parent, you're tired in the evening times. You're spent. You're done for the day. You just want to wind down. You want to relax. And the last thing you want to do is be quizzed on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you don't know that until you become one for sure. So.
Yep. Yeah, there's no way around it. You just got to live through
it. In some ways, I think parents should be. Only on board at 50 years and older, I believe, because it takes some maturity to be a parent. But yet, what happens? We're 20, 21, 22, 23, maybe a tad older than that, and learning ourselves at the same time. There's a lot of stuff I'd love to go back and change and some of that, but in spite of all of it, you guys turned out great.
We got good parents. We would never change that for sure.
You both turned out to be good men.
Yeah, we had a little house party recently. Well, say this was before the COVID, just to cover our ass. But we had a game night with some couples and stuff, and we were all talking, and we got kind of on our family trees, and we were all talking about that. Every one of the couples that were here, and there's quite a few of them, had parents that were split, and they all had step siblings.
Yeah.
And very complicated family trees, and they were like surprised that my parents are still together, and I don't have any step parents. It's pretty incredible. You and Mom powered through all these years and stuck together, even though a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, she's tough gal.
With
But
4 kids too. That's the crazy thing. I mean,
4
like for
wild
us,
kids.
we have one kid, man, and I can't even imagine dealing with 4 kids. You know, if I was in you guys' shoes, kids would have been flying out the window.
Dude, for real, man. It's rough, man. I only have 3, but and one of them's getting older, so he's kind of doing his own thing now. But man, it is exhausting. I don't know how you and Mom did that, and how you guys stuck together.
Tell them what my nickname is.
All right, guys, we're back. We had to cut off. I'm going to put an ad there. Don't you worry. Don't you skip through my ads because I need you to listen to them. We're back. Chris, you were talking mid-sentence. Now you're in mid-chew, and that's why I call you Snacks. Every time you call me on the phone, you got snacks that you're chewing on. And let's go to Chris with snacks.
Bags crimpling and all kind of stuff. we could just do commercial fees just on our phone calls.
What you chewing on these days, buddy?
I can't say unless they're gonna send me a bunch of bags of them.
Oh, that's boring.
What's it?
No, actually, me and Lucy love the hell out of these things because we all love chili, you know, and eating these things with chili is just kind of the icing of the cake, you know.
But you don't have chili; you're just eating them plain, man. It's gross.
They're still good now. They're all
boring.
Good. But I don't even remember what I was talking about. You said I was in mid-sentence, but I have no idea what we were talking about. We have a bad thunderstorm right now, so it must have screwed up the internet for a minute. We had to restart everything.
We were talking about Dad and Mom being together for as long as they have, and growing up with parents that are still together, and all the stuff that they've gone through, that you and I couldn't handle as parents. And then you were saying something, and then you froze.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what it was.
When I play it back, I'll know, and then we can talk about it some other time.
Yeah. I think what we were talking about, though, is the fact that there's no way in the world we would be able to deal with 4 kids, you know. One was tough enough, you know, for us anyway, you know. Not that it's tough. It's just I can't imagine having 4 kids asking me, you know, a million questions. You know, one does it all for me, you know. So I guess
it's exhausting.
Whenever you have it, you just make it work, you know, and that's that's what it is. You rise to the occasion and you make it work. Look at my name, Eric.
I'll fix it.
Look on this podcast, your name is Eric, by the way, whether they like it or not. You know, that's what the E stands for. And you are talking to your family. We don't call you E Willy. We call you Eric. You know.
Yeah. We were talking about that when you were going. All the times that it's slipped on the other podcast. I don't care if my name's out there. I just don't want my last name out there. But yes, I am Eric. I'm good at editing. Don't you test
me. Yeah, man.
It's for our own safety, guys. It's for our own family safety.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I was just telling Eric.
YouTube drones are going to get us.
I was just telling Eric a while ago that Bob and I are working on our 46th anniversary, 46 years of marriage. Would you believe?
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In this day and time, that's quite a bit of time.
You should get like a Nobel Peace Prize or some kind of a presidential award if you can stay married that long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't easy, man. It's always a struggle. There's always button heads, strong opinions. Especially in quarantine, I'm sure there's a lot of people right now pushing each other's limits.
Yeah. See the little guy in the middle right there that I'm holding?
Look at that.
That's the guy I used to ask all the questions right there. Huh?
Oh, E. Willy wasn't even thought of then. I never knew I'd be held by
man with a beard like that, huh?
Yeah, no, what's the always equated to what's that guy's name? Hank Williams Jr. That's what you look like to me right there.
Oh, wow.
Let me see it again, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I ran off that thing. I was going to look for another picture.
Oh, okay.
I think that has you in it. That's really good. Let's see.
That's such an awesome picture to see the.
Yeah.
It is.
Send that to me. I don't have that one.
All those questions you were getting from me, man. A country boy can't survive.
Yeah. That's where that song came from. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I have another picture of you guys too. That really is a great picture. I'm gonna get it up here while you guys are talking. Okay.
That's probably what, early '80s. That picture.
Yeah. about that. Yeah, exactly. Here's a good one too, though. That has Willy in it as well.
You will.
Let's see.
That's perfect. I'm so white you can't even see me.
Uh-huh.
It's fitting.
Let's see if I can trying to get that to come in better.
That's in Pensacola.
Eric always looked like the Chucky doll. What's the Chucky doll, Eric?
Child's Play, Chucky.
Good guy doll or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the good guy doll.
My little buddy or something like that.
My buddy was the real one.
Oh, okay.
That's the one I
have.
have.
You're the guy with the big guns right now that's in our family? You don't talk about.
Let's see him, Chris.
That's that little fella right there.
That little Donald Trump face.
Mm-hmm.
It's tremendous. My family's tremendous.
That's a Morgan Fairchild face.
And there's Willy right there.
It's crazy how much whiter I am than all of you guys.
All you guys are good-looking kids, though.
I came out albino.
Still look like Hank Williams Jr. without a beard right there.
Uh-huh.
You could skin a kid's ass and make them run a tight line.
Well, wait, one more, okay? Just one more here. Look at that.
Dana looks so happy. Chris does too.
Mm-hmm.
That's cute. Everybody smiles. Man, I can really see my daughter smiles in Scott and Chris for sure. I mean, Scott and Dana.
Yep.
Coco especially.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a long time ago right there. That's shit.
Get some, Chris. I see an eclipse coming.
Let's see. I think. We were going to we went to that place out there in Navarre Beach, the nice camp that we were stayed at one year, one fall festival thing, and that's about the same time that that those pictures were taken roughly.
Yeah, I had a lot of good memories on that trip. That was fun. We had that big old condo. I think it was like 3 stories.
Yeah, with parking underneath, would you believe?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Had a spiral staircase that went up to your sleeping area and the upper floors. That was very nice. Very nice.
We had all those sand dunes on the outside that we were running and playing in, which I don't think it's accepted in these days. I don't think you're supposed to be running on them anymore.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
We actually the old wood paddle that you had, that was kind of like a legacy in our family. Me and Scott buried that thing in one of those sand dunes. We stole it and we buried that thing in one of those sand dunes, man. It was like we felt so victorious whenever we did that.
Finally, this thing's out of action.
Like,
right?
Freedom.
Now, did you know what happened to the big wide black belt that we used to use? You know where that's at, huh?
Eric's got it on his
Eric's
wall.
got it.
You ought to put that on the wall, right?
I might put it in my new studio. Right behind my under my banner.
We should cut that thing up and make like a gun holster or something positive out of it.
Yeah. The secret to good adults, huh? To good good-natured adults.
It's crazy how much that belt is like deteriorating too. It's like rotting away.
Yeah. I don't think it's actually even leather. It's some kind of imitation leather or something.
If they ever want to clone me, they can get my DNA off of it.
Oh yeah, dude, we're all on that
belt. Sorry about that, guys.
I deserved every one of them, man.
Yeah, my wife's ring too.
A regret swinging it, but I don't have any regrets. I needed them all.
Yeah, that's how I think of the same way with my dad. We didn't get spanked that often, but when we did, it was pretty intense. Because the infraction was pretty intense. Yeah. You know how it goes.
I don't have it in me to spank the kids anymore. I've bluffed so much. I did spank them recently, but that was because they really pushed it, and I had to finally own up to my threats. But man, I hate doing it. I don't have it in me anymore. I'm getting soft quick.
Yeah. I don't do it either, man. I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt somebody if I put my hands on them anyway. So it's like just stay away from it, and just if you feel compelled, just kick them like a football.
Yeah. Push them down the stairs, whatever you gotta do.
I think you guys are choosing a better way to do it for sure.
I think we're just sissies, man.
In this day and time, especially,
Yeah. I'm not against it or anything. I think corporal punishment has has a place or whatever now, and I think we're, I guess, lucky enough that our kid doesn't give us a lot of hell or anything like we did for you guys, for sure.
One of the
But,
biggest things for you is
then,
your girl doesn't have another kid to fight with constantly.
Yeah, that's true too, because that's probably the most mischief and trouble that you get into is just fighting with your other siblings, for sure. That's a good point, Eric.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the majority of what they get in trouble for, is pushing each other too far and saying rude things to each other or doing rude things to each other. And it's like, you got to draw the line. And our biggest thing is just punishing them. We take stuff away from them constantly. But spanking is like last resort.
Yeah.
Just take them outside when it's cold and spray them with the hose.
Hey, let's do.
Turn me into a popsicle. hold that. Yeah, hold that thought.
Let's have a quiet, awkward moment where nobody says anything and we're just like,
stare at each other.
Yeah, you gonna come up with something, or you gonna say something, or let's just have an awkward moment.
Okay. The best way to start an awkward moment is to be like,
yeah, there you go.
Wait, yeah, and
hey, let me add to that. I have a good idea here. Let's play with my phone while you're trying to figure out what you're gonna say.
You look like that guy on Quantum Leap. What is that? What's that guy's name? Ziggy? No, Ziggy was the computer system, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was his name, Eric? We need Dana for the trivial solves.
Is it Sam?
Eric.
Marty? Sam?
No, Sam was the character.
Scott Bakula?
Yeah.
Scott Bakula.
He was the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, what was that guy's name? Yeah.
I don't know. I love that show though.
But isn't that crazy though, Dad? When you think about that when you think about like Star Trek and just technology in general, you would have never thought that we'd be doing video, conferencing, and then people walking around with these devices. It's the same thing they were doing on Quantum Leap, which was, I guess, in the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys tapping on the stuff, getting all this information from it, and we're doing the same damn thing now,
Yeah.
At our fingertips.
Yeah, that's very true.
We just haven't got the time travel down yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 89 to 93 is when that ran.
Pull up that guy's name so we know the character's
which one?
name. The second guy, the one that had the gadget.
Sam Beckett, huh? Sam Beckett?
No, that's the main character's name. It's the guy that he also played in
Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Excuse me.
The guy that was his sidekick that helped him, he was a hologram, is what he was.
Okay.
I got
is
it.
Al?
His name was Admiral
Al Calavacci?
Al Calvici or whatever it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Al.
Yeah.
I just called him Al for short.
Mm-hmm.
Al.
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 That was Dean Stockwell, huh? Is the guy's name?
Yeah.
The guy you're talking about?
Yeah, you looked it up. It doesn't count.
Yeah, it's over now, Doug. You ruined it. You cheated. You're using your quantum leap device.
This is all memory.
Why his face glows from his phone.
That's your wisdom aura. It just glows.
Yeah.
That's how you show that somebody's cheating or not.
You've heard receding hairlines. I have receding memory right now.
And the face starts glowing. Like, I'm not cheating. I'm not looking anything up.
Yeah, it's right in there. Oh, like the scary faces that are lit from the bottom, and he's cast a shadow to the top. Hey, Dad, you're looking at your phone. I can see it. Oh boy.
Something I do want to do with this podcast though is I want to end every episode with really awkward goodbyes, forced awkward goodbyes. So when we're done, let's try to make it as awkward as possible and unnatural.
That should be easy. Hey, we could do that.
While you're talking, I'm gonna hang up with you. Yeah, and yeah.
Like the equivalent of the hug on Step Brothers.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Oh, are you actually ending this podcast? I was going to ask you one question or make a comment.
No, not yet. We're going to end it in about 5 to 10 minutes or so.
Okay. I was just going to say something about your podcast the other day there when I was listening to you're talking to Manny especially because he seemed to be kind of in a bit of a hurry, whatever.
Yeah,
but I was thinking
you're bringing up my worst episode so far.
Yeah, well, it's the last
I mean,
one in my mind.
he was cooking the whole time. It was crazy. He was you could tell he definitely wasn't into it for sure. He didn't have it. I mean, maybe that was his way of just feeling comfortable doing it. I guess
well, you make a good point there, Chris. But what I was going to suggest, if you got a guy like that or a woman like that that's kind of in a mind for time or whatever, or seems a little bit short, I think I cut the questions down to 3 instead of 6. We got 6. We have 65 questions for you that we want you to answer.
Yeah.
You might want to cut it down to 3 or so, 2 or 3.
Nobody else had problems answering those questions.
Yeah, it's just the guys that are in a hurry,
He was just overwhelmed that night. I think he was doing that as a security blanket type thing. And here we go at Snacks with Chris.
I didn't hear it.
Now that he knows who we are more, I've talked to him on like FaceTime before that episode, and it was fine. It was a normal conversation. I think he just got flustered with the idea of it and having people over. The next time I have him on, it'll be better because I am going to get him on this podcast as well because he's got so many interesting wildlife stories to talk about.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting character for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That necklace I have from him is really cool too. So
he would be cool to have in the studio.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to do. Take this podcast on the road. Go to Fort Lauderdale.
Y'all ate dinner tonight? I haven't had dinner yet. I'm freaking starving, man.
Yeah, we haven't either. Podcast comes first.
Yeah, but you're a different time zone than us.
Yeah, I'm 16 years ahead of you guys. Where you guys are at, the sky is up above you. The sky's behind me. Where I'm at in the future. Y'all have any other questions or anything y'all want to throw in there before we wrap it up?
No, you want to ask me anything?
Y'all want to
ask me anything about my clearance shopping?
Yeah, we do need I want to do a whole episode with you and make you start your own YouTube channel on how to clearance shop at sports stores and outdoor shops because Dad can attest to it. You find the coolest gear for the cheapest prices on a regular basis.
It's incredible. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
It's a gift. It's a talent.
10
10
cents on the dollar.
I can't really say anything that I'm really good at that I can say just outright that I'm really good at that, but I feel that I'm definitely good at that. I don't know what it is. I just have a knack for honing in and finding that stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah.
It's almost like it finds me, Uncle Clarence. I walk in there and calling my name.
Yeah.
I walk in there and it's just like, hey, look over here, So I mean, it's simple. If you want to put the time in and you're looking for it, it's there,
I'm a cheap price. Come and get me, Mr. Chris. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Over here. I got a nice little pocket knife for a nice, reasonable price.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a gift.
I'm going to force you into making a YouTube channel on that because I think a lot of people would get a kick out of the shit you buy, how much stuff you can get for a cheap price and all the cool gear you're getting. Because it's not like you're buying junk either. You buy all kinds of really badass pocket knives. And,
yeah, exactly.
And just all kinds of outdoor crap that I can't even remember all the stuff.
And
he's got a whole room full of it.
Away.
Yeah, it's a charity.
Mm-hmm. Family charity.
True. I'm not trying to capitalize. I'm just capitalize on the good deal, the clearance deal. But I definitely don't sit there and just buy bulk things at good prices and turn around and make a profit on it. I've never done that.
Yeah. That's a good thing, a good point to make too.
Yeah, it's
this is like a hobby.
Yeah, and to me, it's like there's like kind of a dirtiness to that. That's just my feeling on it. I'm not judging anybody else on it, but just my feeling, my conscience tells me that hey, that's not what you need to do. You're not doing this to make profit on it. You just you do it. You find good deals and it, like Dad said, you pass it on to people and whatever. That makes me feel. I get more accomplishment out of like sharing that stuff with people than anything, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not an ugly thing that you're doing. It's just a pure cool bargain shopping, giving people cool gifts for cheap prices and good quality stuff. I'm going to ask y'all some of the questions that I'm thinking about asking my guests, and we'll see if they're worth a damn or not. I have quite a few of them, so I just pick a couple of them. Chris, what movie can you watch over and over without getting tired of it?
It's a good question. I've seen so many movies over and over. All the questions, even your original 6 questions from your other podcast too. It always, for me anyway, it just seems like it takes a period of time to kind of chew on it a little bit and figure out what the right answer for yourself is and all. But I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I can tell you what movies I've seen a lot, especially as a kid. Like Top Gun is one that stands out. My buddy Jeremy and I would probably watch that movie about 1,000 times, if not more. And I think we could definitely recite the whole movie verbatim.
Top Gun's a good answer.
Yeah. But there's more too, But I mean, that's definitely one for sure, Actually, Mandy was talking some shit to me the other day, and I just started rolling out reciting some Top Gun lines just to cover over what she was saying. And it was that scene too, Dad. Whenever they did that in the beginning of the movie when they did the flyby, where they were in the captain. I guess it's the captain is the ranking of that guy when he was reading them the riot about what they did, and then basically saying that he's got to send 2 hot shots to Top Gun,
That was a great show.
So Mandy was running her mouth, and I just had to eclipse what she was saying with some lines from Top Gun.
What about you, Dad? Do you have a movie that is one that you can definitely watch every time if it's on?
Yeah. There's 3 or 4 of them that I really like a lot. Definitely, Great Escape would be one of them. That's Steve McQueen and what's his name? Steve Garner. Is that right? Am I saying the right name?
No, it's James Garner, isn't it?
James Garner. That's it. Yeah, very good movie.
I feel the same way about Escape from Alcatraz. I love that movie.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Sneakers is one for you. I know you like that one a lot.
Yeah, you're right. I did like that.
Quigley Down Under. That's one of yours.
That's a really good one.
The
I
Hunt
can watch that one right now. Yeah. I love the Western movies too. I really do, man. Those movies, for some reason, I kind of gravitate towards them.
Tombstone. That's a good movie too.
I think Dad kind of gravitates towards the romantic movies more than anything.
I tell you, the ones I do like, they usually involve some sort of a spy game type thing.
Yeah,
I know. Like Sneakers was like that.
Yeah, like I spy that you have a big purse.
Yeah. Found me out.
Dad doesn't have any tattoos, but he does have that one Steel Magnolias tattoo on his back.
Yeah. I don't know. That's why I don't go to the pools or anything anymore.
Yeah, fried green tomatoes on your chest.
Beaches. Yeah. No beaches and pools for me. Yeah.
All right. Here's another question for you guys. I'm going to throw a couple of matches so y'all can chew on them mentally, and then we'll come back to the answers. So just think about them as I tell you, because these are all brand new. What accomplishment are you most proud of? What type of music do you listen to when you're trying to exercise or do anything that's going to get you pumped up? Give me 1 second.
And Dad, mom sure as heck didn't tone that YouTube video down, man.
Yeah, women are not stubborn. You know how that goes.
Yeah, you're gonna get some mail over that one, though.
Yeah, you can take. You can remember that statement. Remember that quote. Okay.
All right, here's the last one that it's a little bit more playful and a little less intense. If you could be invisible for one day, what would you do with that time? So
that's a really cool question.
So you got, if you can be invisible for one day, what would you do at the time? What is your greatest accomplishment that you're most proud of? And what music do you lean to when it's time to get the pump on of any kind? Let's see those guns, Chris.
The invisibility side of it, if you ask men that question, it's gonna turn to be a perverted answer.
It is what it is, man. No limits.
Yep. Yeah, no, so I think it's pretty good questions, but for me, off the cuff, like you, I think in your other podcast when you do those 6 questions, you give them I guess most of them are a chance to chew on it a little bit and come
Yeah,
up
tell
with
them
their
ahead of
answers.
time.
Yeah, so to answer those questions in an improv way is kind of tough if you want a legitimate answer.
Right.
You can make some shit up and just throw something at it, but it may not actually have any depth to it, though.
Right. That's why I'm asking you guys to shoot from the hip.
That's easy.
All right, so Chris, what kind of music do you listen to when you're gonna go to Curbs Fitness?
I always gravitate towards, because I grew up on heavy metal music, so I always go back to the old heavy metal music, stuff like Iron Maiden, Metallica, the older things too, not like, modern Metallica, just the old stuff. And then for some reason, the older heavy metal music really gets me going for sure, It's just spent, I guess, a lot of years listening to all that stuff, and definitely gets me hyped up.
Yeah. Move my chair so I quit bumping my computer.
But besides Rocky Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah. That's a universal pump up song.
Yeah, it
is. What about you, Pops? What music gets your jazz fingers going?
I was trying to think of a couple that definitely Santana. I'm really big on his sound. I like the south of the border type music. That would definitely be high on the list. Any kind of Mexican or flamenco type music would be great for that kind of.
Are you dancing with your phone right now?
Yeah, because it's
cameras all over the place.
What is, I have it on top of a pillow, and I have to constantly adjust it to get the right place.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I'm holding it with my hand.
Yeah, we don't all have fancy studios like somebody.
Yeah.
So, like I'm laying, this is the backboard of my bed right here now, in case y'all didn't know.
Oh, there they are.
But this is, I'm actually laid in my bed right now because it was the quietest place I could find during this the storm and just the regular family noise,
Yeah. Mom with the TV on or watching YouTube on her phone real loud.
Yeah.
So Southwest music. Dude,
that sound that Bomb's got going on, that is going to be ingrained into this YouTube video.
Yeah, I wish I could change that. There's only one volume on.
Yeah, she's got to close her door. That's what she's got to do.
There's only one volume. I don't know what that's. She is a really good person, as you know. And mother's a wonderful person, wonderful human being. But there's only one volume on her iPhone and her iPad, and that's
she needs to get some headsets.
Needs to get that door closed.
Yeah. What else can you say?
So what about accomplishments? What's an accomplishment that you guys are real proud of that you've done in your own life?
I'm still waiting. I haven't figured one out yet.
It doesn't have to be anything.
I'm still striving for an accomplishment.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But it's what you've done so far in your life. What's something that you think about? And you're like, yeah, I'm proud I did that. I powered through, I got it done, or I achieved this.
I think one thing I would say that I would take pride on, and it's not something that you want to try to brag about or anything and all, because it kind of defeats the purpose. Is to, I think, for years, and as we were growing up, that Dad and them have instilled a value in us to try to help people and do things and stuff and all. And that would be probably, I would say, something as a family I'm the most proud of, that we've done things to help people, and we're if people need us, we're there for them. And if I would say anything that you can be proud of, you can maybe be proud of that, because I think that's all in us. You have it too, Eric. It's obvious. If we see somebody on the side of the road or people that need help, and we're reading a situation, that we want to, it's just ingrained in us that we want to, jump to it and help those people and get them back going, or whatever it takes to do it, and that's actually our whole family seems to be that way. I think if anybody has any great qualities in humanity, that would be one good one that everyone should have. I think, because if you can imagine, the world would be a lot better place if it was that way, for sure. And there's lots of great people out there willing to help, for sure. But obviously, negativity always gets the spotlight. But there is a lot of good out there for sure.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that's definitely because we come from parents that had good morals and got that in us early on. Because it is like you said, it's just instilled in us. It's a natural reaction to something. Instead of having to think about, should we do this, should we do that, we just jump to it and help the person out.
Yeah, and you two guys have got a heavy dose of that for sure. You seem to be very much, it's in your character that it is.
Yeah.
I think you would do something even at your own peril, you might say, or at your own risk. You would do something. Both of you would.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. Just in your character.
That's a good one, Chris. You complimented me as well in there, so I appreciate that.
Brought the whole family in. But it is true.
Bonus
But it's not something you walk around and say, oh, we're good Samaritans and we're helping people out, because true people that are good Samaritans are not bragging about it. You're not doing it to be noticed, and you do it because it feels right and you want to help people genuinely, and I think everybody that does that can agree that there's no better feeling in the world than doing that. There really is. That's just the most gratifying thing in the world to me, is to help someone else.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you, Popsy? You got anything?
Well, I was thinking about it when you were asking that of Chris. There's a few things. Being 72, you have a pretty good overlook of life in general. And
don't say me either, because that's gonna make Chris feel bad. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys, all of you and your sister, have turned out to be good people. But that's an accomplishment that's from really your mother as much as it is me, or maybe more your mother. I think in some ways that maybe I think possibly that the one thing that maybe Bob and I could both say about that is keeping our marriage intact and being there as a couple, for almost 46 years, for the a mother and dad, for the family's sake. Not that we ever had any serious problems for sure, but we've hung in there as a couple, and the bond is as strong today as it ever was, if not stronger. I would say even stronger.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, life's got a lot of ups and downs, and we've had our share of downs, as you guys know, for sure. But I remember the guy that they used to the doctor that used to see Bobby for her condition in New Orleans at LSU Medical Center. I used to always say, you guys, most couples divorce when this kind of a thing comes up, this kind of disease hits someone in the couple, and don't expect too many good things down the line. But we weathered that storm too as well. But it was common for couples with that kind of with one of the couple that has that condition, for them to go south as a marriage.
Yeah, I can't imagine going through all that, plus the kids, like we talked about earlier. It's intense. Yeah. You and Mom have gone through a lot for sure.
Yeah, and having to hold a full-time job on top of that too. That's And what we were talking about earlier, for us right now, it's easy. I mean, we work and we come home and we'll be tired or what, but when you work a full-time job and for some reason it seems like your jobs, you had to travel a good bit of distance and all too. So, and then and on top of that, you get home and then you got all these eyes and mouths that are all over you, and they want to talk to you and ask you a bunch of questions, and all you could probably do is just like, man, I just want to sit right here in this corner and just have some peace and quiet, and maybe drink beer and eat some dinner or something,
many times I would leave work from with full of energy and enthusiasm. I can't wait to go back and see my family and go shoot the bull with Bobby and the kids. By the time I got to the house, that was gone. Just the drive home itself would take it out. So
I know that feeling for sure.
yeah, and you know how that is. That's part of life.
I remember when we were really little, I would look forward to you coming home, and I would get on your foot, and you'd walk through the living room with me sitting on your foot as you walk, holding onto your leg. It's crazy.
I think I did that with all you kids. Did that. That was a cute thing. Talk about a good way to build up your legs too.
Yeah.
I do that with Lucy even right now. She does the same thing.
Kids do the cutest things. I'll tell you, it's
Good
amazing.
memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kids do the cutest things.
Was that all three of the answers? Did y'all answer all three of the questions?
You got the invisibility question.
Oh,
you
yeah.
had,
Yeah, let's wrap it up with that one.
Why you had to bring that back up there? Since you brought it up, you can answer it first.
Yeah,
I have no idea what my answer is going to be.
Well, I had the same thought myself as well. What in the world would that be?
It doesn't have to be your definitive answer either, because you guys are being put on the spot.
I think
it's something fun that you would do.
I think something that I don't know if it'd be fun, but it'd be fun to try to get into some of these political areas and all that stuff. Where some of the big politics are being talked about, and some of these big being made from the executive side of the government, and some of the intelligence side. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you would get into that with the the invisible. Powers or whatever you want to call it, and afterwards you'd be like, holy shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that right there,
Well,
find out way more.
Say that.
Yeah, way more than what you want to know, and you kind of back to what I told you before in the past, Eric, that ignorance is bliss.
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Yeah, you could actually, in a case like that, just know too much,
Yeah, you probably can't even imagine the things that we don't know, that's out there, and probably just, we probably really couldn't handle it even,
Yeah, it'd make you crazy, knowing that much stuff and having to deal with it. Yeah. I would definitely try to sneak to like Area 51, Area 52, and try to sneak in those places. That would be my go-to.
Well, that's in. Remember, that was in my answers for the other question thing too, and that's something that I would really curious to know about is Area 51 for sure.
Yeah. Supposedly, all the interesting stuff is that Area 52 and 51 is just a front decoy, basically. That's why it's so commercialized. But that's for another podcast that I'm on called Truth or Theory. We dive into these conspiracy theories. Yes. I don't know limits. We're all saying here, no tinfoil hats.
I guess the whole idea, at least the frontline idea of Area 51 is that we would have a place that we can pretty well protect and keep secret, and to test our best weapons that we have on hand, and keep them out of the eyes of our enemies. But humanity, human nature being what it is, they're going to do more than that every time. Yep. And it certainly that's what's going on, more than it should be doing.
Well, guys, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all doing this for me. This is going to be forever locked in the library that we can go back and watch, and it's special.
We never agreed to it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. You're retarded now.
Yeah.
I don't worry about contracts. I just worry about the content getting recorded.
Yeah, you're going to hear from our lawyers now.
I'm going to change your guys' names on here. No, I had Kevin and Donald on, so I don't know who these guys are. They look alike, and they're trying to claim to be my guest. All right, we got about a minute before it closes out. Do y'all have any closing statements you'd like to say? Want to boost off my new podcast? Wish me luck. Do you have any guests you want me to reach for? You have any certain topics you want me to talk about?
Yeah, no, I think it's a fun adventure for you for sure. I think there's lots of opportunity out there for you, and it definitely gives you an outlet to exercise the artistic side that you have. I think that that's kind of been a burning fire in you that now you finally found an outlet for it. And I'm definitely happy and proud of it for sure. Man. Wish you all sure.
There's going to be comedy skits and prank calls on this podcast as well. I'm going to mix all kinds of stupid shit in here. Yeah, I want it to be very entertaining.
Yeah, I think Chris and I, like Chris was saying a while ago, I think Chris and I are amazed that you were able to pull this off and get the guests that you get. We're very proud of you.
Thank y'all very much. I appreciate that.
You did good.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to close it before it closes for us. Love y'all very much. Thank y'all very much for doing this.
Love y'all too.
Love you too, son.
Never again. Never again.
But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah.
Awkwardness.
Oh yeah,
Take
awkward.
5.
Awkward goodbye. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, bye.
Yeah, that's good and awkward.